The Fight Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code SGPN. That's UnderdogFantasy.com and the promo code SGPN.
Since I'm a target, I want to make it very easy for you. I am right here. So don't waste no more time. Thank you. Don't be confused, Gunter. It's all good. It's all good. Because tonight is your night. Tonight, I'm here to celebrate you winning the World Heavyweight Championship because I've been there before. I understand how proud you must feel. So, congratulations. Just wanted to put a little note on tonight and tell you how proud I was of you. You know what, though? One thing, before I go, a few months ago, you started something with me and my family in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm gonna make sure that I end it in Atlanta, Georgia. July the 12th, Saturday night, main event. You're mine. Because you're next. Goldberg got a bigger pop last night than 95% of the entire WWE roster.
You are listening to your WWE version of The Fight Show here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, covering both tonight's Saturday night's main event and tomorrow's WWE Evolution pay-per-view. Now, we have done an AEW All-In show, but that is over on the Lock Betting Podcast, which I'll speak about in a second. Firstly, you can follow the Sports Gambling Podcast Network on X at the SGP Network. That's at the SGP Network. You can also follow me on X. I am the host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast, and you can follow me on X at SGP Soccer. That's at SGP Soccer. Don't forget, you can listen to every podcast episode on this network for free by simply subscribing to the SGPN feed. Get it wherever you get your podcast. You can also get all your podcasts by downloading the SGPN app. It really is the most easy and convenient way to make sure you never miss any of our free picks or any of our free pods. Now, if you're looking for additional free picks and free pods from me, then search for Lock Betting wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well. The Lock Betting Podcast will be covering the NFL as usual this season, and it will be the home of Das Bundesliga. But over the summer, we have been dropping some bonus shows as well. This is where we covered the Women's Wimbledon. That's where we gave our Women's Wimbledon preview, although not a great show, but it was still posted on the Lock Betting feed. And that is where we have just posted our all-in preview. So previously I was going to do 2 editions of the Fight Show, but my Lock lock betting feed needs content as well. It's been quiet during the summer, so I want to keep things ticking over, and that is where I have posted a preview for AEW All In. So be sure to check it out. Also subscribe to the Lock Betting YouTube channel. There's going to be a ton of content starting from next season. In fact, we're going to start early with preview content, and there's also preview content already posted, started on July the 4th on the Soccer Gambling Podcast YouTube. So that's primarily going to be just soccer. Over on the Lock Betting YouTube, it's going to be all sports, but we've already started previewing the upcoming EPL season. We've done recaps for 24-25 for specific clubs, and now we'll be hitting our preview. So there's a new video posted every day. This includes free bets. This is where we posted all of our semi-final content for the FIFA Club World Cup, and we went 2-0 with our semi-final locks. So great content over there that you're missing out on if you're not subscribing. So I encourage you to subscribe to everything. Subscribe to the Lock Betting Podcast, subscribe to the Lock Betting YouTube, and subscribe to the new Soccer Gambling Podcast YouTube channel as well. And that is short form content, so it's easy to digest. It's not going to be the season previews that we put out here on the podcast. I know they're easy to follow when you guys are driving around, or if you're in the gym, if you go to the gym, or going for walks to get your steps in. Whatever you do, podcasts are digestible like that. People don't necessarily, though, like to watch 15-20 minute YouTubes. That's why we've gone with short form content over on the Soccer Gambling Podcast YouTube channel, so you can get a team preview in 60 to 90 seconds. So be sure to check that out. It's easily digestible content, and you're going to want to subscribe to it if you want to get football information and free plays for the upcoming season. But of course, as you guys all know by now, if you want to get all of my official plays that go towards my tracked and transparent spreadsheet, head over to lockbetting.com. It really is an incomparable service. It's delivered 145 months in a row of transparent and tracked profit. That's 12 years and an additional month without a single losing month in sports betting. It's a transparent and tracked fact. All the spreadsheets are posted. You sign up for lockbetting.com, and that's the same place where we post the spreadsheets. Now, the newest spreadsheets, the website does need to be updated. We've primarily been focusing on posting our spreadsheets on social media because nobody really checks the site. So all of the historical spreadsheets are there, but we are about a year behind with the stuff that we need to catch up with and post on the website. That's largely down to the guy who posted it had a major family bereavement, the guy who runs the site. So I've not been pushing him to post the spreadsheets up there. I did have a question about that this week, but they're all on X and they're all on Instagram. Instagram is the place to go to. That is a hub for everything we do. All the latest spreadsheets are there. All the latest 3 spreadsheets are pinned to the top, including the month of June, which was the 45th month in a row of transparent and track profit, and included our French Open futures as we finger blasted the whole tournament. So everything is posted there, and it's done in an easier way to digest because it's all done via screenshot. So you don't have to open a Google Doc. You can literally see the spreadsheets posted via screenshots. You can see the monthly analysis, and you can see exactly the type of bets we do, the sports we bet on, and most importantly, how we sensibly manage a bankroll, and the fact that this is all verified by existing members who are making this profit every single month. You cannot beat that. As I said, it's a hub for what we do. Not only do we have the spreadsheets there, not only do we have the latest 3 pinned to the top, but we also have the betting information videos. We post free plays there, and it's a place to contact me if you have any questions. Because if you're not signing up to this service by now, you either don't want to win money and you're just listening to this because you like the sound of my voice, or for some reason you don't buy into this, you don't believe this, and surely you have some questions. Surely the fact it's verified by existing members and the spreadsheets are all there and they're tracked and transparent, and it's enough for other companies like VEASAN and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network to buy into, given the fact that these are adjudicated spreadsheets. But if that's not enough for you and member verification's not enough for you and you still have questions, contact me, send me a message on the Lock Betting Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, you can instead contact me on the X account, which is at SGP Soccer. That's at SGP Soccer. But as far as gambling goes, in gambling terms, I'm delivering absolute miracles on a monthly basis by turning out this profit day by day, week after week, month after month. And it's not a miracle service. We do have losing days and we even have losing weeks, but it's how we bounce back from those. Go and look at the latest spreadsheets and see how we had a major blip between the 13th and the 20th of June, and then look at the absolutely ridiculous recovery we had from the 20th to the 30th, where we blasted out 8 winning days out of 10, including taking 7.5 units on a single day in the final Saturday of the month. So this is just what we do. All we do is win, and we've done it consistently for 12 years with 0 losing months via this service. So lockbetting.com, go and check it out. So let's move on with breaking down Saturday night's main event first, and then we'll move on to the Evolution pay-per-view. Tonight, though, is all about the retirement of Goldberg, Goldberg's final match. Now, it has been teased out there via Michael Cole that maybe it won't be his final match, because he said it would be very interesting to see what happens if Goldberg wins. Maybe that's just a way to cast some doubt out there, because not a lot of people believe that Goldberg is going to dethrone Gunter, and the odds would suggest that as well, with Goldberg coming in as a 6-1 underdog and Gunter being priced up at 1-12. Well, I've seen these odds before. I saw these odds at the Survivor Series in 2016, and Goldberg came out and beat Brock Lesnar in 90 seconds. So you never know what the WWE have planned. Ticket sales for SummerSlam aren't great. There isn't really a match that you can say has been pre-booked that you're really looking forward to. Nobody can guess anything that's going to be on the SummerSlam card with any confidence, or say anything that they'll be particularly interested in. Are you interested in seeing Rollins versus Reigns, Rollins versus Punk, Punk versus Gunther? These are the unconfirmed rumoured matches. All we know as of right now is that Cody Rhodes will be getting his rematch against John Cena via winning the King of the Ring. And it does look like Jelly Roll will be involved with Logan Paul, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre in what's likely to be a tag match, with Orton teaming up with Jelly Roll against McIntyre and Logan Paul. But more on that later, as we will cover the match between McIntyre and Orton, because it does happen here on Saturday night's main event. But here, you have to take a sprinkle on Bill Goldberg, because stranger things have happened. And it's not inconceivable that Goldberg could win the championship here and could be quickly cashed in on by Seth Rollins. I even devised a booking idea on my wrestling show, The Dirty Sheets, where Bron Breakker comes in and destroys Goldberg with spears after his victory. And that's where Rollins can capitalize and cash in. And that sets up another future Goldberg match where Goldberg can go up against Bron Breakker in a battle of the spears. So he can win this match in his home city, and he can actually retire at SummerSlam on his back by putting over new future superstar Bron Breakker. That's what I would do, because this Gunther reign, the last Gunther reign didn't do anything for me. This is just Gunther basically dethroning Jey Uso and setting up his match with Goldberg. Now, some people thought that this was just a temporary thing, with Gunther taking the belt so he could have this match with Goldberg and this being for the title, and then he would drop it back to Jey Uso. I don't think so. I think the Jey Uso title run was a mistake and an epic failure that WWE acknowledged. They did not put Jey Uso in the main event spot. In the end, they did pull the trigger with the title switch, but very quickly at the first opportunity, it has gone back to Gunther. And I personally don't see Jey Uso being the champion again. I also have inside information that Jey Uso wasn't really great as champion in terms of dealing with the media responsibilities and whatnot. And it came as somewhat of a relief to Jey Uso to actually drop the championship, contrary to some of the stuff you might see out there from his dad, Rikishi, who's constantly complaining about it. I'm not sure Jey wanted to continue on as champion. It's not affecting his money. His merch sales are still strong. His promo photos are still strong. His t-shirt sales are still strong. His sunglasses sales are unbelievable. And why go through all of that extra media work if you don't actually want to be the champion and it isn't paying you a whole load more money, when you could just put it on Gunther, or inevitably, we all know this belt eventually ends up on Seth Rollins. But it's all about the pathway. Is it going to be Gunther winning here, then Gunther losing to CM Punk, and CM Punk having a short 90 to 120 second reign as Rollins cashes in immediately? Or Can we get to SummerSlam with Seth Rollins going in as the champion by cashing in on Goldberg here and maybe even doing my Bron Breakker idea? I think Goldberg at 6-1 plus 600 is worth a sprinkle. Do I think he wins? No. If there was a gun to my head, would I pick Goldberg? No. But there's no gun to my head. This is a betting podcast and he's at 6-1 plus 600 and he's won matches at these odds before. So I'm going to take Goldberg to get it done at that price here for this one. Before we cover the remaining matches on this show, let me just take a quick little pause here to tell you guys about Circa Million and Circa Survivor. If you think you know ball, then you have to enter Circa's football contest with $21 million guaranteed in prizes. There is no rake, so if entries go above the guarantee, all money will go to the prize pool. Circa Million means you pick 5 teams against a spread each week. I'll go for the Ultimate Sweat in Circa Survivor. There is even a Circa Gran Turismo, which is a 100k Survivor contest. You must register in person at Circa Sports in Nevada, but that's a great excuse to actually go to Las Vegas this summer. Sign up in Nevada, but play from anywhere, and you can do that with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use the promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. Let me also utilize this pause to tell you guys about my bookie.ag. My bookies, you place the bet on every sport, including the FIFA Club World Cup, the MLB, WNBA, golf, Wimbledon, your NFL football futures, and of course, the WWE, because this is where you can bet all of this stuff. And there's even a prop being put out about how many spears is Goldberg going to hit. The line is at 2.5, so over 2.5 or under 2.5, slightly juiced towards the over. And I would be taking the over in that market at the price of 4-5 minus 125. So be sure to sign up at my bookie if you want to get involved with the WWE this weekend. Head to mybookie.ag and use that promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. But that's mybookie.ag and the promo code SGPN. One more time, it's mybookie.ag and your promo code SGPN. So let's plow through these remaining matches. We've already spoke about Drew McIntyre taking on Randy Orton. McIntyre is a 1-2 favourite here and Orton's at 6-4. I think McIntyre wins this. He's just come back from a layoff. He just lost a cage match against Damian Priest, who he did beat at WrestleMania. Drew's in need of wins. He's already beaten Randy Orton on the road to WrestleMania on an episode of SmackDown, but it wasn't a very memorable match. In fact, I was at that match, and a lot of it was cut out for an ad break, and suddenly we came back from the ad break. Kevin Owens interfered, and Drew McIntyre won. I think McIntyre gets to beat Orton again. Both these two really need a win because Orton lost the King of the Ring final and his comeback has been somewhat underwhelming. But I think if you're trying to get to a Jelly Roll match with Orton teaming up with Jelly Roll, what you need is for Logan Paul to interfere here, outdo Jelly Roll and set up the match. Because I can't see the heels asking for the match if Orton just ends up winning here. And that's pretty much giving away your payoff early. So if Jelly Roll interrupts and Orton wins and Drew's mad, then Drew has to get Logan Paul as a partner. And that's how you get to SummerSlam. And that seems like a weird route. But the route of Logan Paul getting one up on Jelly Roll after Jelly Roll chased him away last night and made Logan Paul powder after Logan Paul started attacking Randy Orton after Drew took him out with a Claymore, that seems to make a lot more sense because the heels need to be on top until you get to SummerSlam. Celebrities always win these matches. So as stupid as it's going to be, I think Jelly Roll and Randy Orton will go over. But en route to that, the heels are going to come out on top. And I think that begins with winning this match. So Drew at 1-2, I think, is the correct favourite. Elsewhere, you have Solo Sikoa as a 1-33 favourite to defend his championship against Jimmy Uso. This is a no-brainer for me. Obviously, the odds tell you that as well. Solo's just got this championship and he needs wins. This should be building towards Jacob Fatu coming back, but I'm not sure what the situation is with Jacob at the moment, whether he's selling an injury or whether he's suspended. He did use the N-word in a rap song that he put out with his uncle Rikishi. Rikishi is the father of Jimmy and Jey Uso, and there was some controversy surrounding that. Obviously, these are woke times and cancel culture is rife and you can't make mistakes, especially if you're working for a company like TKO, who are trying to run a PG wrestling company here and have shareholders and stockholders to answer to. So probably not the best move for Jacob Fatu while he was receiving the best career push of his career. but he has lost the championship. Ultimately, he's going to come back for it. And this is just filler. And Jimmy Uso doesn't beat Solo here. Solo wins, but no value here at 1-33. Obviously, not even as a parlay piece. And finally, we're looking at Seth Rollins versus LA Knight, where Rollins is a 1-4 favourite and Knight is at 3-1. I've seen Rollins as short as 1-7. He should win here, but there's no value on it. The value is, in fact, on taking LA Knight, because what could happen here is that you could see Rollins guys interfering, and then you could see Sammy and Jey Uso coming back and interfering. And ultimately, the key man who swings things in favour of LA Knight could be the big dog Roman Reigns. We know Roman Reigns is coming back. We know Roman Reigns last year came back at SummerSlam, and they can't actually just simply repeat that again, having Roman Reigns returning on the same show as last year. I think this year, the idea would be for Roman to actually wrestle on the show, given it is the first ever two-night SummerSlam and ticket sales are weak. So I think you need Roman Reigns wrestling on that show, and therefore you need him returning early. So I think there's a very high possibility that Roman could return here. I know they wanted him to return in Saudi Arabia. It's not like Roman Reigns to miss a Saudi Arabia show, but his wife was giving birth to another child. I think that's his 27th child for Roman Reigns. So he ended up missing that show, but his return is imminent, and it would not surprise me to see it come here. WWE, of course, are doing these shows all this weekend to get under the skin of AEW, deliberately planning these shows on the same weekend as AEW's All In, with Evolution happening tomorrow, which we're going to get to in a minute. So I think here all the value lies on LA Knight, but ultimately I do still think Seth wins, because Seth needs to win because he's supposed to be the main character on Raw. Obviously, Roman is a part-timer. CM Punk is in and out, but Seth Rollins just made a major heel turn, aligned himself with Paul Heyman, has the Money in a Bank suitcase, and is probably going to be the champion soon, and maybe the champion that carries that belt into the next WrestleMania. So he can't really take too many losses, and LA Knight's not really a guy who wins big matches. I tipped him to win the Money in the Bank, and that's the last time I'll be taking him. Whilst I don't think there's any value on Rollins here at 1-4, I do think he wins the match, and it could be worth possibly parlaying him together with Drew McIntyre. But bear in mind, that does make this a very heel-heavy show. Rollins 1-4, McIntyre 1-2, Solo 1-33, and Gunter 1-12. One of these guys is probably losing. I don't think that 4 heels are going to go over on a WWE show. So that automatically opens up value on all of the underdogs, especially in places where Randy Orton's at 3-1, where LA Knight's at 9-2, where Jimmy Uso's at 12-1, and where Goldberg is as big as 8-1 if you shop around for better prices for the show. So at this juncture, it's now time to move on to tomorrow's WWE Evolution Women's Pay-Per-View. Before we do that, let me take this quick pause to tell you guys that Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em as well. So sign up at Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. Go to underdogfantasy.com and use that promo code SGPN. Let me also utilise this pause to tell you guys about Rhythm. Now, you've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they've just dropped their game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are updated daily. They're exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. MLB Power Trends are 254 and 147, which is a win rate of 63% and an ROI of 4.5% in their past 400 bets. Whilst WNBA Power Trends are 35 and 20 since launch. That's a 63.64% win rate with an ROI of 20.7%. So if you want to get in on all this, download the Rhythm app and check out Power Trends and start betting smarter. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm to get yourself a free 7-day free trial. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM rhythm.
Few weeks since I've been back, and wow, have things changed. You know, I came back to talk about something very important to me, evolution. But what I didn't expect was to get into an altercation with Liv Morgan. I came to pay my respects to the women of today, but instead Liv wants to question my womanhood, my legacy, and then she attacked me. Now, you know, I didn't realize it at the time, but that lit a fire inside of me. So while I've had some time to think, more than ever do I want to make a return to that ring. I want one more moment to prove myself. I want one more moment to prove to the fans, to my Bella army, of what I can do. I want one more moment to show my son what the WWE Universe has seen. And what better way to do that than to enter the Battle Royal in Atlanta for Evolution. Now look, I know it won't be easy. I will be facing some of the best women in all of WWE. But you all know me. I will do whatever it takes to win. I want to have that match at Clash in Paris. I want that title opportunity. And I want to prove that you don't fear the challenges that get put in front of you. That you don't run from your past. You face it, you learn from it, and you build a future that no one can ever take from you. The first Evolution was a history-making event, so why can't I make history now? This Sunday night, not only will I make history again, I will prove to everyone why Nikki Bella is fearless.
So things got messed up when Liv Morgan got injured, and that kind of messed up the entire plans for this card, and it all just got reshuffled, and it seemed like that they just stopped trying to make an effort with it. So it is somewhat of a convoluted mess. A lot of people complaining about it. Ticket sales aren't great. The main event, though, could see a major title change. It could see Rhea Ripley getting her first ever win over Io Sky and becoming the new women's champion. She's the 4-11 favourite to do so, with Io Sky at 9-5. And I do think Rhea Ripley will win here. Too much has been made of the fact she's never beaten Io. Io also went over at WrestleMania. She's doing absolutely nothing as champion. Don't think she's doing anything for anyone. Her time has come and gone. She's a Triple H pet project, but so is Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley's a far more popular one. You only need to look on Instagram to see how many followers Rhea Ripley has. So she's bringing in people from outside of WWE. Outside eyes have an interest in Rhea Ripley, which is what TKO want. And I think she's their chosen champion. And I think this will be a grand finale to a show that has had an underwhelming build that could be saved by the actual card itself and by a relevant development as Rhea Ripley walks away with the championship. NXT championship will also be on the line, and Jordan Grace is the favourite to leave with that championship at 1-4, with JC Jane at 5-2. JC Jane only recently won this from Stephanie Vaquer, so it would be surprising to me to see her lose it. So I'm willing to take a stab on her here at 5-2. I do think Grace does win it because I do think we're heading towards Grace and Mariah May, whose new name is Blake Monroe, and Blake Monroe turning heel. But maybe she could turn heel here on Jordan Grace and stop her from winning the championship, and JC Jane may be able to drop it to someone else, and then that babyface drops it to Blake Monroe once the Grace Monroe feud concludes. But it's going to end up on Blake Monroe. I'm not sure how. The easiest route would be for Jordan Grace to win and then to drop it to Blake Monroe once she turns, but maybe the turn comes here and that gives you value on JC Jane, who's a relatively new champion, at 5-2. Trish Stratus is going to challenge Tiffany Stratton. This has probably been the most underwhelming build, with Stratton just choosing Stratus, and it's no surprise to see Stratton as a 1-9 favourite here. 1 to 100 wouldn't even be too much. She's winning. Trish Stratus has no chance here. This is basically just a filler match to get your SmackDown World Champion on the card. Jade Cargill takes on Naomi, and she is a 1-4 favourite of Naomi at 5-2. I think it's a very short price on Jade. These two are going to continue on with their program once Naomi cashes in. I think it's relatively inevitable that Naomi cashes in at SummerSlam on either Jade or Tiffany. Maybe when Jade's about to win the championship, or maybe Jade wins it and is quickly dethroned, although I do think something similar is going to happen between Rollins and CM Punk. So maybe they go with something different here. Maybe they even have Naomi losing to Jade Cargill on this night and then going into cash in and setting up a rematch. Or maybe have Naomi win and setting up a rematch. But I just think Jade is too short. She's already beaten Naomi before, and that was at WrestleMania. So you don't really get too much out of Jade winning again. But she is the favourite. When you have the money in the bank, there is a belief that you're Teflon with your booking and you could take multiple losses because you're going to be reset once you win that World Championship. And I believe, given that that is the philosophy within the WWE, we will see Jade Cargill winning this match. Up next, we move on to the Women's Tag Team title match. And I'm really, really surprised by the pricing here for this one, because you have the champions Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez as minus 300 favourites to retain this championship, with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair priced up here at 2-1 plus 200. Oscar and Kairi Sane are at plus 500, and Sol Ruka and Zarya are at plus 900. Now, I get it. You want to establish Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez as a tag team champions because Roxanne Perez just walked in and took Liv Morgan's place and hasn't really earned this belt. So you want them to earn it, but Bliss and Flair is the hot storyline in the women's division, and that kind of just tells you how cold the women's division is right now. There really isn't too much going on, but the most intriguing thing is probably Alexa and Charlotte being a tag team. Do you kill that here immediately with them failing, or do you build more intrigue by them actually winning the championship? Now, you could go in a different direction and have them chasing for a bit, but the fact that Charlotte is only being sold on this Alexa idea because they're getting this title match and because they've been winning matches, it would set them back too much, I feel. And I just feel that they're going to pull the trigger on this one quickly. Judgment Day already have all the belts. They don't need this. So I can see Charlotte and Bliss winning the championship. And if you shop around, you can get plus 250. There was a plus 300 available yesterday. That is now gone. So I'm going to go with the most common price, which is plus 200 on Bliss and Flair to upset these odds and to leave with the tag team championship. By the way, these odds are all over the place. I quoted Jordan Grace at 1-4 minus 400, but there is a minus 160 available. So if you shop around with this stuff, you can find some decent odds all over the place. We'll finish off. Well, in fact, we've got two matches left. We've got the Battle Royal and the Intercontinental title match. We'll finish with the Battle Royal. We'll do the Intercontinental title match next, where Becky Lynch is widely expected to retain her championship. She is the 1-4 minus 400 favourite to defend it against Bayley. And the third woman in the ring, who will be Lyra Valkyria. Valkyria is the outsider at 5-1. Bayley's at 7-2. And Becky Lynch is around about 1-4 minus 400. Becky is an automatic parlay piece for me. So if you're trying to make a three-legged parlay, which is the most that you can do for wrestling, I definitely consider Becky here. This should be a good match, but there's no doubt about the outcome. I'd rather have just seen Becky versus Bayley, but obviously Becky was coming off that feud with Lyra and she's managed to inject herself here. But because of the Horseman thing, I don't think we've seen too much of Bayley versus Becky. I don't think it's been overexposed, so I think they could have got a one-on-one here. But Triple H has tried to shoehorn as many people onto the show as possible, especially the ones that he's been pushing for. And Lyra's obviously another one of his pet projects. And while she did have that run as the Intercontinental Champion, it didn't really work. She's not really over. Her promo skills aren't really hitting with the crowd. And this is actually a low spot for both Becky and Bayley to be involved in this match and chasing this championship. It's worse for Bayley. At least Becky's the holder, and this is something new that she's not done before, and it does make her a Triple Crown winner in the women's division. So I would think Becky soon will drop this belt and move on to bigger and better things, unless it's going to be one of those things where she just has a huge reign and they use her to establish this belt, much like AEW have done with Mercedes Moné. So I'm not sure how this pans out long term, but I do know Becky's walking out of Evolution with this championship. And we close out with the Battle Royal. And odds for this are actually not all over the place. We've spoken about odds being all over the place for many things, but this is quite consistent. Stephanie Vaquer is the favourite at every single book that you look at, and a strong favourite as well. Where I'm looking right now, she's at 1-3 minus 300. And then it's a huge drop down to Nikki Bella at 5-2 plus 250. And you heard the audio piece I inserted before we started covering Evolution, where Nikki Bella was talking about the Battle Royal. Said 3-1 for Bianca Belair. I don't think will be involved. Nia Jax 6-1. We drop down to Chelsea Green at 11-1. Paige Saraya 11-1. I'll be surprised if she's even in it. This would be a very underwhelming way for her to come back if she comes back at all. Same for AJ Lee, who's at 17-1. Ivy Nile is at 20-1. Natalia 20-1. Zelina Vega 22-1. And everyone else is bigger than 25-1. I think for Vaquer to be this much of a favourite, There's got to be some insider knowledge there. But don't forget, Nikki Bella wasn't supposed to be in this match. She was supposed to be doing something with Liv Morgan. And now, will they actually compensate her by giving her this Battle Royal win? Nikki Bella has been massively influential in improving ticket sales for this show. They've improved from 4,000 to 8,000 over the last 3 or 4 days. Now, that might not be solely down to Nikki Bella. That might just be late sales, and because WWE have probably inevitably drop the ticket prices, which they usually do in the final week. But she has been on a massive media tour. She has been everywhere talking about this show. Nikki Bella has been carrying the media load for this show, and she deserves to be rewarded for that. She was supposed to play a massive part in this pay-per-view. She was supposed to be in the main event. She's not now, or at least in one of the main event matches, but she's not now. So you have to compensate her in some way. And I think it's a very easy conversation at this stage of her career to tell Stephanie Vaquer, listen, we know you were going to win this, but Nikki Bella has done a load of media. She's aided in ticket sales. She has huge merch sales. Her autograph signings always sell out. And we think a title match involving her will be marketable in Paris and help sell tickets there as well. So I think it makes all the sense in the world for Nikki Bella to win here. And I think her price is too big at 5-2 plus 250, even though I do think at some point Vaquer was winning and was promised this. I think plans change in wrestling. Nikki Bella was supposed to be something else, supposed to be doing something else. She's now doing this. And I think they thank her for it by giving her the win here. She's already dedicated this to her child, to her boy. And I think it's a tough sell for me for Stephanie Vaquer to now win it from this point. And I'm all over Nikki Bella at the price of 5-2 plus 250 here for this one. So that concludes your WWE Evolution preview and, of course, your Saturday night's main event preview that opened up the show. As I said to you guys before, AEW All In is covered over on the Lock Betting podcast. I had an issue yesterday with the show that had All In and the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor fight. I was trying to do that on one show because obviously All In started earlier and the boxing was yesterday. I had a massive problem with that podcast. I couldn't get it recovered, and I just decided I wasn't going to record the show again because by the time I'd fucked around trying to save it, we were 4 hours away from the Serrano fight starting. I'd already given out my pick over on VSiN. I wasn't correct, by the way. Katie Taylor managed to rob Serrano again. So that's 3 fights they've had. Taylor's been given all of them, yet the public generally feel that Serrano won. But I really felt this time Serrano would get her hand raised, but it didn't happen. Taylor wins 3 in a row, so I probably saved you a loss by not getting that out. And the all-in part I've covered over on Lock Betting anyway. So that was the issue with that. So it's supposed to be AW All-In with Serrano and Taylor on one show and then the WWE stuff on another. I ended up losing that file, and 4 hours before the fight started, I didn't really feel like re-recording it, as I have so much content to do this weekend, including the show you're listening to right now, including a preview of the Club World Cup final as well, which will be dropping in the next 4 or 5 hours. And also we have an episode of Bet MEFC that I want to drop before I take a week off. So I'm going to take a week off. I'm going to focus on plugging my YouTube, getting those videos up, cutting those up, and getting those edited via CapCut so you guys can view a new video every day over on the Soccer Gambling Podcast YouTube. Be sure to check out the Lock Betting YouTube as well. All my official plays, as always, are posted over at lockbetting.com. If you have any questions about lockbetting.com, hit me up on Instagram at lockbetting. As I said, the service has provided 145 months in a row of transparent and track profit, and you'd be stupid at this point not to sign up. Good luck with all your bets as always, guys, and thanks for listening.